topic and title of today's live stream is Bitcoin dead? Are the crypto markets crashing? And what's next? Or is this just the beginning? Hello, everyone. My name is Arai Beckman. I'm one of the founding partners of the Peace Through Trade blockchain, AI, and global ecosystem. So first off, I'm going to start sharing with you guys my screen here. And here we've got CoinMarketCap.com's crypto market overview. So you can see over here, we're in an extreme fear index. So it's fear and greed index. On the left here in the red, it's fear. On the right here in the green, it's greed. And you can see here, it's in the worst position that I've ever seen it since I've started seeing this on CoinMarketCap. It shows the global market cap, which is pretty cool. It's $2.4 trillion. Shows you the volume. And you can see here, I've pulled up all. So CoinMarketCap's graph here is going back to the beginning of August 2022. So first off, what I want to share with you guys is Bitcoin's obviously taken a little bit of a dive, okay, recently. That's obvious. Its price dipped below $70,000 just recently, down from a high of about $126,000 not that long ago. Now, what I think is happening, and I'm going to show you the proof and evidence as to why I think what's happening, is different. So you have to really think about blockchain and the crypto markets in general as just a normal financial market, all right? A lot of people to date don't understand exactly how they should be thinking about crypto. Rather, it's been its own industry to date, okay? So but its own industry has been the Wild West, all right? The regulations, the laws, the legalities haven't been in place to date, majorly. It was mostly Bitcoin, and then it was Ethereum, and for a big portion of the crypto market, it was meme coins and tokens, and a lot of pump and dumps, a lot of rug pulling. There's also been a lot of fraud. So I know there's quite a few people in crypto talking about the most recent dump of the Epstein files and what's really going on with Bitcoin. And a lot of that has to do with what has Bitcoin been used for predominantly and what is it used mostly to date throughout the world. But I'm going to share with you an angle that I haven't seen a lot of crypto KOLs or influencers or people talking about. But if you pay attention to the right financial channels, this is just a standard in finance, this is what I think is really happening. Yes, Bitcoin's dumping, and a lot of it has been dumped. But what I think is really happening in blockchain globally is that the regulations are coming. And what I think is happening is that big institutions, governments, the largest funds on the planet, the biggest publicly traded companies are absolutely positioning to get into blockchain, especially this year, especially with the current Trump administration being so favorable for blockchain and crypto. And I'm going to show you why I think that's the case. Now, so this is a page I've pulled up right here from the White House, their own website. It's just .gov/crypto, okay? Now, the biggest institutions in the world that have the most money every year, their goal is to make profit for their shareholders, for their companies, and for their funds, right? Now, they move so much money, and they're probably in the positions of being the most well-informed, that if they know something is about to take off, if they know that more laws are going to be coming into place, and as a result, the biggest funds and the largest companies that are publicly traded and government organizations and funds also are going to be coming into something, well, they have the best data. And so the easiest way for them to make more profit, it's super simple. First of all, they can sell large amounts, more than you and I can with our own Bitcoin holdings, and they can affect the entire markets, okay? Now, to date, the majority of the market of blockchain and crypto is really mostly influenced by Bitcoin. That's a big bummer, actually, for every other project out there in the world, especially projects that are adhering to the legal guidelines, the laws, the regulatory situations, and have missions for, let's say, pro-humanity or pro the world. The bummer in general is sort of been like, Bitcoin goes down, most other projects go down. Only when Bitcoin's going up, because so much of the money in the global blockchain market is tied to Bitcoin. only when Bitcoin's going up, for the most part. This isn't a universal, absolutely true 100% of the time, but for the most part, when Bitcoin's going up, the rest of them go up. Now, a future mature market is going to have independent projects that, regardless of what Bitcoin's doing, they should be able to go up or go down independently, not only mostly driven by Bitcoin. Does that make sense? It's like the stock markets right now. Yes, in general, you'll see the markets moving up and moving down, but NVIDIA is able to go up regardless of what gold's doing, as an example, or Apple or Microsoft. And in the future, we'll see what we get in terms of future IPOs, but there's rumor that ChatGPT, SpaceX, which has now been paired with XAI, these things might also go public. So they should be able to go up and down. Now, obviously, there can be major global events. Obviously, there can be, and there will be, major things that influence overall the markets also. That's never going to change. But it shouldn't, imagine like one stock, if it goes up, everything's going well. But if it goes down, imagine if there was one stock where that happened, with Apple going down and Microsoft going down and TSMC going down and NVIDIA going down. That would obviously suck, and it would make for a much less strong market globally long term. So in general, here on the White House page, you can see here, Donald Trump, and the President of the United States, has officially made his statements about blockchain, about crypto. You can read this article yourself on the White House site. If you haven't yet, this is, in my opinion, the most influential individual and force on the planet for blockchain and where the markets will go. He's currently the leader of the free world. He is the president and chief of America, the largest economy in human history, the largest mover of commerce on planet Earth. And what America says is going to happen, the rest of the world is going to fall in line with that. Absolutely. They want to participate in that commerce. They have to be following this lead. So whatever this gentleman here and his current administration posts is by default law, effectively. Other groups, other nations, other organizations of nations can have their own intention, but they're all going to want to play ball and participate in the commerce that comes out of America. That's being the biggest economy in the world. It buys the most things from other nations, and it also sells the most things from other nations. So blockchain's just the new technological way we're going to do that for commerce, and in the future data and other things. But for commerce, if they want to participate in that global trade, and the United States White House and President Trump's administration are posting things that are coming, or what their intention is to do for that blockchain, they're going to want to make sure that they meet those same standards, that they're playing in the same field of what's evolving, so that they can participate in that trade too. That's it. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. It doesn't need to be the most recent technological evolution of some new random, chain thing that's coming. It's going to be very straightforward. It's going to be very normal, traditional finance approach. And the laws, as they come out one at a time, will absolutely influence what's going to be happening in global blockchain and cryptocurrency. So it's my opinion, this is not legal or financial advice, but it's my opinion that the biggest institutions on planet Earth, regardless of what they think about Bitcoin now and in the future, and I do think it has a long-term history, for sure. I think it has, I think it has a long-term future. But they know in general what's coming the most accurately. And I'm not even saying I know what's coming next, but they know what's coming next. But what we do have is a roadmap that President Trump's team published last year, okay? And it's this report here, Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology. Maybe someone at on the Peace Through Trade team can share this link. I will share it with our team right now. You can go to the PDF yourself and read it. And it's very straightforward. It's very easy to read. You don't need to be super tech fluent or savvy to read it. And you've got everything here. You've got every single topic. It's a very well put together report. And they break it all down for you. And this was published last year, January 23rd, 2025. And it's actually really quite entertaining to read. The language that they use is funny at times, and it was very easy to read, very user-friendly for me, someone who's not, a super technically fluent developer. You don't need to be a super tech fluent individual to read it. And I think you should read it. It says the mandate that President Trump has given. It explains how they want America to be the leader in blockchain and cryptocurrency. And it talks about a lot of different topics. Okay. They break down basic definitions. And it was a great read in general. And it was so cool to see this. Obviously, I won't go into great detail about that, but it was so cool to see this coming out of the United States President's office, considering the turmoil and the chaos that was happening during the last administration. So this was really, really cool. President Donald Trump and his current White House has laid out how they will strengthen American leadership in digital financial technology. And they even go so far as to cover all of these different things. So, as you guys can see here, it's a 141 page PDF. So we're not going to go through everything, but he talks about here the digital asset ecosystem. He talks about the digital asset market structure. He talks about banking and digital assets, stable coins and payments, countering illicit finance and taxation. So just the basics, just the basic foundation for blockchain finance, which is really the basic foundation of finance, and how they're going to be evolving the basic elements of finance onto blockchain. So what I think is personally happening, we go over here to the markets again. And I've got here pulled up for you guys the global market cap. So you can see here that at the height, we were almost at 4.20 trillion in global crypto market cap in October of last year. And now since October, so just October, November, December, January, in 4 months, it's already come down to 2.4. All right. It's almost half. Another 200 billion leave, and it's about half the market cap in just a few months. All right. Now, at the same time, what I think is happening here, by and large, are major institutions, big funds, and governments probably know that more laws are going to be coming out, and that will cause an absolute shakeup in the global market cap of crypto based on what it currently is right now. But that means new leaders are going to be coming forward and entering the space, adhering, like I'm showing you here in this report, to the new legal, lawful, regulated way that blockchain finance and its solutions will be adhering to, according to reports like this, according to the laws that have already been passed in America, and according to what's coming. All right. Now, although it says it's at extreme fear, that's its algorithm on CoinMarketCap, reading buys and sells and trades as it knows how to do. I don't think it's at a point of extreme fear. I think major institutions and funds and financial firms have taken it down. Let's say Bitcoin as an example now, to almost about half of where it was at the high just a few months ago. And if they know that more things are coming, more laws are going to be announced. With more laws, there's going to be more safety, there's going to be more security. And without the laws, the biggest institutions and funds and publicly traded companies on the planet cannot come in to blockchain. Okay, so think about that. Most money that exists out there can't even yet come in to blockchain and crypto projects. And when they will be able to, think about which projects are going to be able to receive that funding and financing. So all the biggest institutions and funds in the world need to do this year for 2026, if they want to maximize the returns and gains that will be coming to their shareholders and their participants and their funds, is if they just sell off a certain amount, and then governments and other, the public see that and participate in that. Well, they've just brought it down 50%. So imagine and that there's a high likelihood, or maybe you're so well connected that you know for a certainty that these next laws after the Genius Act last year are coming to blockchain and crypto. That'll allow more funding and more financing and more projects that the big funds and publicly traded companies can participate in this space more so than ever before. Well, not only would the market then do better than it is, let's say before this big sell-off started happening, it should actually theoretically go beyond that. Well, if you're one of the biggest funds on planet Earth and government funds and sovereign wealth funds are watching what the biggest funds are doing and they're participating in it themselves, well, all you have to do is sell off a certain amount, start the market selling off, right? Create this fear matrix and sell it down. Well, now you've just brought it down 50%. Sophisticated traders and funds and sovereign wealth funds are shorting while it's happening. So they actually just made 50%. And then all you have to do is wait for the next laws to come out, the projects that are coming out that are able to participate in that globally regulated, legal, audited, safe, secure, insured financial markets now for blockchain and crypto. And not only should prices go back to where they were, but they'll go beyond. So you effectively just manufactured a 50% gain and then a 50% additional gain when it just regains to where it was and beyond. So major funds and major sovereign wealth funds historically are known to do this very thing to maximize their gains for their projects. And this is absolutely the case. This has been shown historically that this was something that BlackRock had done previously, while they were telling the world one thing, that Bitcoin's not something that should be trusted, et cetera, or participated in, and that would create fear in the markets and it would bring the price down. They were then buying at the dip as things would show themselves more so to the public markets, that, as an example, like ETF funds and these things were going to come out so that legal, accredited, investor, regulated markets could finally participate with it. So for me, this is not something to freak out about or be afraid of myself. It's absolutely something I expected to see before a big increase would take place in the markets. But it's also something to be aware of, not freak out about, but it's definitely something to be aware of, because the entire blockchain market to date is not what the blockchain market will be over the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, it is not. The entire blockchain market to date is actually the majority of the current blockchain market to date has been the Wild West, right? It's been unregulated. It's not been current best practices of finance applied to this new technology of blockchain. It's been, for the most part, its own thing. A lot of people trying to capitalize on a Wild West gray market industry, people that aren't doing things the right way for the long term, people that are hoping to take down a bunch of money, turn around and hopefully figure it out, people that aren't adhering to the laws of various jurisdictions and countries, so those countries don't feel like they can keep their people safe. All of that being said, and this brings, here, I've got a few more slides I'll show you guys as well to highlight that, why regulations needed, why the third-party auditing that brings about safety and allows for insurance is needed. Here is just another report that I pulled from chainanalysis.com, where they just talk about the total cryptocurrency value received by illicit wallet addresses. Okay, so these are wallet addresses you can see here. All right, they've got them color coded. Everything from ransomware to terrorist financing, to stolen funds, to scams, to sanctioned jurisdictions, to frauds, to the darknet, to malware, to these sorts of things. They've color coded and they show just the amount of, and I don't know how they're coming up with this data. This is all alleged. I'm not saying that this is accurate and verified, but this is interesting that Chainalysis has gone to this length. They're showing you right here that just in 2024 alone, there was $51.3 billion that they think that they're fairly certain went to illicit sources in cryptocurrency. Okay. The year prior to that, 2023, 46 billion. The year prior to that, 2022, 53 billion. And we'll wait to see what the report is for this year. And that adds on to the fact that there were quite a few frauds, thefts, and abuses also. And all of this is possible in an unregulated market, okay? It's not impossible in a regulated market, but it makes it a lot harder for these things that are illegal or harmful, or that none of us want to have more, receive more funding. The reason the regulated markets exist is to protect us globally and you and your money. So 2025 marks, this is beincrypto.com. They're saying here that 2025 marks the worst year on record for crypto theft and losses as they exceed $4 billion. All right. Okay, so they're saying that's a 34% increase in terms of the last year for 2024. There was a Bybit hack by a North Korean Lazarus hacker group in excess of $1.4 billion. And they're also saying in the article that social engineering and phishing scams surged with scam losses up to 64%. I've been phished. There's an expression in the blockchain industry I learned last year when we attended our first industry event, big one, officially, publicly, which was, if you haven't been rugged, phished, or scammed, you're not a part of the industry. So it's almost become commonplace. Now, here's the thing. Ask yourself this. Do you want that for your parents hard-earned life savings? Obviously not. Major funds won't accept that for their funds, their fund members and their monies, nor will governments for its citizenry. Obviously, that's what we want, right? None of us want that for our own money. Why would we want it for our country's monies? Why would we want it for the largest financial groups in our country, right? We want it. We don't want that for global economic stability. I'd found another article on TechCrunch that estimated instead of 4 billion, like being crypto, they were estimating 2.7 billion in funds stolen last year. Now, all of this makes way, okay, for why the regulated markets are needed. Now, here's what I absolutely think is going to happen. Also, I don't know which groups will be here over the next 2 to 3 years that are currently in positions of leadership in terms of, let's say, the top 20 market cap. I don't know which ones will still be here, but I know for a certainty some will not be, and there will be new leaders in their place. Leaders that you don't know about yet, that I don't know about yet. Leaders that have followed the building blocks of their projects according to the legal regulatory guidelines so that they can make sure what they're doing is legal, so that they can protect your funds, so that there can be proof and evidence. You don't have another FTX scam, that your funds are real and the assets that you're buying or trading in are real, and those are verified. There's also projects that, because of the whole legal regulatory part, are going to be able to offer you insurance on your money just as much or more so than you currently have in your bank account. That's what's exciting about blockchain. Blockchain is supposed to be this thing where we can instantly transact all over the world faster and better than we've ever been able to do before. I don't care what the app is that I'm using, whether it's blockchain, whether it's the previous technology system or the future one. I just want to know that it works, it's safe. I want to make it, I would prefer it's easy and it's user-friendly and I have proof and evidence and I can help do the things I'm wanting to do with my funds faster than ever before, more safer than ever before, more verified and proven than ever before, and ideally more insured than ever before. That's what's really cool. And I'm excited to use it to connect with humanity all over the world more so than I've ever been able to do before. I believe that there's so much opportunity for all of us out there to do business with each other more so than we've ever done before because the technology will now allow it. That technology happens to be called blockchain right now. Blockchain plus AI gets even more exciting. And I just had an interesting call this morning where the person that I was talking to, who is a multi-generational individual from banking globally and has worked quite intimately with central banking, it was so interesting. He said something that I've never heard anyone say before, and we're Peace Through Trade. So if you're a member of the community, you already know what I'm about to say. If you're not, make sure you check out our website, pttblockchain.online right now. Stay tuned for the new websites coming. And check out the white paper, check out our mission statement, but we're Peace Through Trade because we believe that humanity is right now at this juncture. And this individual said this, which was so cool to hear it from someone else other than us internally, which was, he said, humanity is at the very, very end of its conflict-based experience globally. He said that technology is going to come in, blockchain and AI now, and it's going to allow us to do more business than ever before. It's going to increase the quality of life for everyone more so than ever before. It will create more prosperity and more abundance worldwide than ever before. And when people are making more money themselves, their families, and their communities have a better quality of life than they do right now, they won't need to enter into conflict as much or at all eventually, and they'll be able to because they can afford to also take care of the planet and help it thrive at the same time. And so this individual nailed it. I totally agree with him. And my point being is that we don't even know what the crypto markets are going to look like 2 to 3 years from now, but I'll give you some examples and evidence for how and why I know that they're going the way they're going. So I'm about to show you a project right now. I don't know what they've announced globally, and I'm going to be very careful to only state that which I believe is public. But I'm going to show you a project that you've never even heard of yet, okay? This project is like Peace Through Trade. They have pursued the right legal and regulatory path the right way. And like Peace Through Trade, we're sustainable. We're all about helping humanity and the planet at the same time. Their project is completely focused on empowering the planet and humanity and sustainability. And their founder is a proven founder also. He is the gentleman that sold 1 coconut water. I believe it was to either the Coca-Cola or Pepsi group. Did really, really well on that. So proven entrepreneur, following the legal regulatory approach, and let's check out what they did. So this project is called One Amazon. So they are currently a project that has not yet gone public, I don't believe. They might have. We're going to have to make sure we stay tuned and follow that. They have some preliminary initial opportunities and agreements in place with governments. I met these guys last year at an event called the Nature Summit, which is put on by GRP Partners in Panama. And I met the founder, Rodrigo here, Veloso. Let's see who they're showing here. Wow. And they're showing here their partners. They got Chainlink, etc. Let's see what they talk about here. Okay. So anyways, here's a project I'm showing you. Did you know that they are one of the first ever regulated as a security blockchain token projects in America? Didn't know that. Because if you're only following the current kind of trending theme of what we have mostly here on X, which is a great community. They're amazing people. They're sharing the projects that they're aware of and what they know is coming out and what they think lends credibility for the long term. But what's really happening also that's going to majorly impact the blockchain crypto markets, what's going to create, in my opinion, a new blockchain market over the next 18 to 36 months, are those that are working behind the scenes with regulators, with lawmakers, with major finance. So I won't share how much money this group has raised, but this project has raised an incredible amount of money. Just put it that way, an amazing amount of money. They are a proven team. They've already pursued the legal regulatory path in America. Because of that, they were able to raise an incredible amount of money, more money than most of the blockchain projects you're aware of have raised recently. More money than I even believe the largest, most successful ICO in 2024 raised, for a certainty. I know that for a fact. And it's about to go public, as far as I know. Okay? Super cool project. Read more about it. All about sustainability. And they have good data behind it. They've followed so what I'm sharing with you right now, I'm sharing with you this One Amazon project because they have the proper foundation for what's absolutely happening in the blockchain world now in America, right? As proven by this report, and from America, the world. So these are the only projects that I'm looking at that have the potential to be positioned as a future global leader in the next 18 to 36 months while this major shakeup happens. I think the entire industry is going to look completely different. I think some of the current dominant market cap leaders will be here. I think a lot of them won't. And I think there's going to be new projects like Peace Through Trade and like One Amazon that will replace them. I don't know which project is absolutely going to dominate, which one will absolutely lead, and which one will do the best over the next 18 to 36 months. Neither do you. There's always a risk. And when these projects like One Amazon or Peace Through Trade go public initially, that's obviously historically a great time to be there watching and participating. And then for the long term, that's where you see which group ultimately wins out, who gets the most traction, who progresses the most. And One Amazon's an amazing, amazing group. I look forward at some point to potentially working with them and helping them with Peace Through Trade. They're a layer 2 ERC 3643 token project. That's a whole other thing too that I should do a future live on. What happens to all projects that are built on Ethereum, traditional, and are not yet on their ERC 3643, which is their only one that Ethereum themselves as a foundation and as a project is saying is currently legally compliant. All right. So none of this is financial advice. These are all just my personal opinions. But what's coming to blockchain right now, what's happening right now is institutions and major funds and governments are selling off. In my experience, historically, that is because not something bad's happening, not because they're in a panic, but because they know big things are coming and they're going to maximize their profit share by selling at the top, or shorting on the way down and then buying back at the dip because they know what's coming. And then that increases the amount of profit that they can make in a year for their shareholders. I think, and I'm showing you real proof and evidence, that laws are coming more and more